You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lanes. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, all wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm Devin, excited to be here. Going to be a quick little show tonight because go Michigan State. You know what I'm saying? Got a little bit of a basketball game on right now. I'm going to be watching that. Didn't really realize the game was on, or I'm going to be honest with you. I would have scheduled the show probably a little bit early. So sorry for those of you that are trying to watch that game and Devin's deciding to go live right now. But be a quick little show. We're going to go over the offensive depth on this team. Now that the transfer portal has been solidified, done, right? All our weapons are on the team now. We're ready to rock and roll. Going to go over that a little bit. Also, some potential schedule changes that actually, right, people don't necessarily agree on, right? There's a part of Buckeye Nation that does and a part that doesn't. We'll go over that a little bit tonight, and actually that's where we're going to start the show at. But before we do that, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button, please. Subscribe button as well. Super chats are open as always. Download the Spreaker app. Hit up Scoop on that thing. Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. Give us a like, but a like on that one as well. Shout out Sade in the chat. You guys check out the thumbnail today. He helped make that. Had a conversation with him. He's going to start helping out with the show a little bit more, some thumbnails, maybe some updated graphics on this thing. So it's good to have a little bit of help with the show. So I appreciate it. Shout out Sade if you're in the chat. But here we go. A little bit of a rumor floating around, but I want to start off with, right, we looked at the schedule this year. We know the Buckeyes played Texas at home this past year, playing them again this year at their place, out of conference. The Buckeyes decided to keep that game, a little bit late to make that decision, but you're seeing teams all around the country, Indiana, Notre Dame, Clinton, teams all over the place, essentially go for the easiest schedule that they can possibly get. Right? And there's a part of people that say, I can't blame them. And there's a part of people that say, man, that's soft. That's softer than Charmin, dipped in Downy, rolled in cotton. That's not the right mentality to have, the whole 9 yards, right? In this 12-team playoff, we have seen the past 2 years, we have seen the committee favor, right, the teams with the most wins over teams that maybe have some better losses on their record, right? Not supposed to be that way, but that's just the way it is. So a lot of teams are making the decision, hey, not even going to take that chance. Let's just give ourselves the easiest schedule possible. And, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it. I'm torn in. When you make this decision, you have to decide, right, what's most important to you, right, in Buckeye football. Do you love watching good football games throughout the season, or do you love the Buckeyes winning a national title? Which one do you like more? Because our schedule this year, playing Texas, the other tough games, we can't do anything about it. But I love watching those games in season. I really do. I love watching the Buckeyes go up against, almost equal talent, I'll say. Better games to watch, more exciting games for us to watch. You get to see where your team is at, way better than when we go and play Purdue and some of those other games. Okay, but then again, you're taking that chance of putting your team in a position of potentially not making the playoffs. So, chat, I got to know. I got to know which side of the fence you're on here. Do you want the Buckeyes to potentially drop their future series with Alabama and Georgia, or do you want them to keep him? So put drop or put keep in the chat. I'm very curious. And it's pretty close with me, to be honest with you. It's a lot closer than what I thought it would be on my decision. I want them to drop the games, right? I want to see the Buckeyes in the playoffs. I don't want to take any chance of us not getting to the playoffs. But in the same sense, man, I love those big game matchups. I just do. They're championship schedules. There's a part of it that, right, if you don't, if you go in and lose that game, it's an opportunity to really gauge where you're at. It's an opportunity to see the things you need to get better at and all those things. But again, like I said, you risk not getting in the playoffs. And, I'm going that route, man. And that's the word floating around, is that the Buckeyes earlier, so it might have been a month ago, there was a little rumor floating around that Alabama was wanting to cancel the game with the Buckeyes, right? And that's been known for quite some time now, for about a month or so, if I remember correctly. But a little rumor started today that now the Buckeyes are looking into possibly getting rid of their Alabama and the Georgia game as well, which as of right now, I mean, as a fan in season, like I've said 100 times, I love watching those games, but I want to watch us in the playoffs, and I want to win a national title. We've seen teams do it. We know how it operates. It's about how good are you playing at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? So, right, I know that there's different people going to have different opinions on that. I got to see what the chat says. I just saw a comment that I agree with a lot. It's a good one. Mark says drop. Big Daddy says essentially keep them. Ron, keep. Grizzly, keep. Matt, keep. Say drop. I'm okay with whatever. I'm a little bit there as well, but again, I lean more towards drop. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Keep, drop, keep. Save it for the playoffs, maybe. Here's a good point right here. For those of you guys that want, that love these big games, we'll face big teams in the playoffs. And then also, Sade, very good point. The Big Ten has enough good teams to face in season. I know. You take Texas off our schedule this year, we still got USC, we still got Indiana, we still have Oregon. I don't know if you can put Scum in that category or not, maybe just because it's a rivalry, but they're at the bottom of the Big Ten now. They're probably bottom 2, bottom 3 of the Big Ten, worst team in the Big Ten. I think Northwestern's going to surpass them this year, but they had that coming. So they're going off the maps of a big game. You know what I mean? They suck bad. Probably one of the worst teams in the Big Ten, especially because they kept their quarterback. That was a mistake. Anyway. Oh, it feels so good. You know what I'm saying? It feels so good to talk crap about them. It just does. Every time I think about what they did to this sport, dude, it irks me. It irks me. It does. I know. Get over it, Devin. It's in the past. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Anyway, got a tough schedule. What players do we have to go against this? We've seen the Buckeyes, how they recruit, how they attack the transfer portal. When you look back in 2025 and how we acquired talent in our class and in the portal, might not have been the best given the time that we're in, but still, I still stand firm on the fact that we did not lose the games because of talent. I think we had enough talent on the team this year to go win a national title, but we were young. Now you watch the Buckeyes in this offseason, you watch them let a lot of players go. A lot of players, some players chose to leave that the Buckeyes wanted to keep, but a lot, more than what you realize, were pushed out by the Buckeyes. On the defensive side of the ball, Matt Patricia, he's got a certain style. He's got a certain defensive lineman that he likes. He likes those big defensive linemen that can clog up the middle. Some of these guys did not fit that because when we recruited him, Matt Patricia wasn't here. So you see the Buckeyes kind of navigating more towards the style that he likes the players to be. So that's good news. But you also saw them get rid of a lot of young players on this roster. I did the math, right? I was sitting in my truck at a job site, wrote it on a piece of paper, went through on my phone, looked up everybody's ages, all this stuff. It was a lot of work. Found out the average age, and then I redid the average age with the players we bought in. And if I remember correctly, I think that the Buckeyes upped their age by a year and a half. I think it was just under a year and a half old that they upped the age on their roster by. Unfortunately, I have a dog who decided that that piece of paper no longer needed to exist. She felt the need to tear it up, and she's back there sleeping. But anyway, that's my excuse. The dog literally ate my homework. So, that being said, I love what the Buckeyes did in the portal. I'd say on the offensive side of the ball, one area of this team that got hit the hardest was the wide receiver room. We'll go over that here in a minute. But let's start with quarterback. Obviously, we got Julian Sayin back in the fold. Going to be our starting quarterback. I am nowhere even close to on the side of, hey, I don't think Julian Sayin can get this thing done, that we need a new quarterback, all this stuff. I know there's a small fraction of Buckeye fans that don't feel he can get the job done. You're fair to your opinion. I mean, you're allowed to have your opinion, but I think that's on the verge of a ludicrous statement. His first year as a starting quarterback, we know what he did. The most accurate quarterback in the nation, was at the Heisman. And obviously, we knew preseason, guys, remember this, okay? Our expectations changed in the middle of the season. Before the season, everybody knew that Julian Sayin was going to go through growing pains, and we were fine with that. Were we not okay with that? We were fine with that. We're like, let's let him go through these growing pains this year because, right, 2026, 2027 is going to be his year. It's going to be our year to win the national title. But our expectations changed when we saw how good this defense was. Let's just keep it real, everybody. I'm going to keep it real. That's where I was at. But anyway, went through growing pains. Coming out this year with the addition of Arthur Smith, I believe Julian Sayin is going to take a major leap forward, and he can lead these Buckeyes to a national title. And I do believe he will be using his legs. Arthur Smith likes that, the threat of running. And Julian Sayin can do that. We know he can. We can dive into why he didn't this year. You could say it's Ryan Day. I think the big part of it was Ryan Day. You can say he's a new quarterback, nerves, not being able to read defenses all that well, all those things you put into play. Either way, chat, will Julian Sayin get the job done for us this year? Yes or no? Yes or no? He said, Matthew Miller says the chat is weak. He said, at the job site, damn, easy job if you can do that. It must be the boss because mine would have thrown a tool at you. No, I own the company, so it makes it a little easier for me to sit in my truck and do those type of things when you're the owner. All right, so let's get to this Julian Sayin stuff. Steely says yes, completely agree. Yes. I see you guys in the chat. All right. Anyway, backup quarterback. The Buckeyes went in the portal, and they got Justin Martin. A lot of experience, but I think in the end, Tavian St. Clair is going to end up winning this starting quarterback job. 5-star quarterback from the 2025 class, which was his freshman year, going into his sophomore season. Very talented. Didn't play as high a competition as you would have liked to see from a 5-star quarterback. But remember, he's got Billy Fessler, Ryan Day, now Arthur Smith added to that list. I think Tavian St. Clair will end up being our backup quarterback. All right, moving on to running back. We know the offseason charades that happened there. We know last season Buckeyes brought in C.J. Donaldson. That did not work out as they planned. It did not work out like I thought it would work out. I thought he would be a little bit better than he was. We're able to utilize him with pass protection quite a bit with some of our freshmen running back unable to handle that job. But we're bringing back Bo Jackson, freshman, over 1,000-yard runner. Thrilled about that. There was a little bit of a scare, which, by the way, I do want to let you guys know. I did get a little information on that. You'll never guess how blown out of proportion that Bo Jackson stuff was made to be. It was blown way more out of proportion than I knew it was after having a conversation with somebody. So that was blown out of proportion. We're bringing Bo Jackson back, bringing Isaiah West back. I think Bo Jackson's going to be your starter. And I think your RB2 is going to be Jacoby Jackson, the transfer from Florida, going into his, I think, 5th or 6th year in college football, was injured last year. But again, I've done a show on him before. I think he's one of the sleepers in this class. Got a pretty good connect on the Florida team. Spoke with the coach about their thoughts on Jacoby Jackson, what he's able to do as a running back. But also you have Isaiah West there as well, who can definitely help out behind him. Turbo Rogers, going to be interesting to see if he gets involved in this offense at all this year, bringing in freshman Legend Bay and Favor Key as well. So I like running back room is young, but I like where we sit with the production from Bo Jackson this year, bringing in Jacoby Jackson and Isaiah West there as well. Here's the interesting one. I got to ask. Who's RB2, chat? RB2, tell me who it is. You guys agree Bo Jackson is a starter? I think we can all agree there. Who you got as running back 2? You got Jacoby or Isaiah? Who is it? Who you picking for RB2? I got Jacoby Jackson. I'm excited about that too. So let's see if I can wait. I wish there wasn't a delay in what I say, so I don't have to wait on you guys to answer this. Sage says West. That's fair. Sage says Jacoby. Yeah, I like that. Sean's got West. Again, a lot of potential there is too. They need to take a step up in their pass protection, but man, they're going to do that. I like Coach Locke in that room, teaching them what they need to be taught. Steely says West as well. Wide receiver. Here we go. Oh, heck yeah. Said Solners says, agree again, Dev. All right, we on the same page then. Matt says Jacoby as well. All right, chat, here we go. Need your help. Wide receiver. Buckeyes lost Quincy Porter, Mylan Graham. They were the 2 biggest impact players. Lost Carnell Tate to the NFL draft as well. Bringing back J.J. Smith. Bringing back Brandon Ennis. Got a loaded freshman class. Also have a couple of sophomore that I think I can help. That I think can help. This is a hard one to kind of sift through on who the starters are going to be. But here we go. I'm going to give you guys my take on who I think the starters will be. I think J.J. Smith and Brandon Ennis, starters for sure. You can write them in. And I think Kyle Parker is going to be the 3rd starter on this team. I know he normally played the slot position. I'm aware of that. But the 4th one, who I was in contention with on starting over him, I might surprise some people, but Devin McQuinn. I think he's going to be pushing for that other starting role as well. And obviously, we have Chris Henry Jr. and Jaquaden Guilford coming in. Okay. A lot of people talking about Chris Henry Jr. I do think he's going to be a contributor this upcoming year. It's pretty hard as a freshman to get on the field. But I also think Jaquaden Guilford is going to be on the field just as much as Chris Henry Jr. is his freshman year. We got brought in Cortez Hankton from LSU. One of the things throughout his career is he rotates, man. He subs wide receivers in and out, at least some, which is more than Brian Hartline did. So I want that. I kind of want all these wide receivers to be involved this year. I would not be upset if we watch J.J. Brandon Ennis, Kyle Parker, Devin McQuinn, Chris Henry Jr., and Jaquaden Guilford kind of get some snaps in a lot of games, get some experience down as well. Jaquaden Guilford was the highest rising recruit in the nation He actually flew above Chris Henry Jr. in the Rivals rankings way back when Ohio State first started recruiting him. We had Caden Dixon-White and Chris Henry Jr. in the class. When they started recruiting Jaquaden Guilford, I got a call from somebody inside the Woody that said they're looking at Jaquaden Guilford as a 1B type of wide receiver in this class. That was when they first started recruiting them, right? And we know how the recruiting cycle went. After Brian Hartline left, the Buckeyes proved that they thought he was that skilled, and they upped the ante a little bit on keeping him in the class against Ole Miss. Old Steely calls him, what do you call him? A snake oil salesman, something like that. Kiffin tried to take him away from us. But there's another wide receiver who I think, I know I'm listing a lot of wide receivers right now, but Phillip Bell is the other one in this conversation I think needs to be talked about. The 2025 class. And whatever class he was in, I get confused on it sometimes. Sorry, y'all. He started off as the number one wide receiver in the class. Out of California, went through a lot of things in his life. Showed out in the spring game. Coaches are really, really high on him as well. So Phillip Bell is another one to keep an eye on as well. And I love this. Sage, absolutely. 6 wide receiver rotation will be good, but heavy with Smith and Ennis. Yeah, I would love that. Dude, just in general, we've got to get more rotation, especially for these stars, these freshmen coming in that we think are going to make an impact. I mean, every one of them need 100 snaps at least. You got to get them on the field because that's going to help you make your decision when the portal opens on whether to pay them or not. You know what I mean? It just is. Get them in the game a little bit earlier than you normally would, and you're going to be able to see what they're about, right? What that life's about, and see if it's worth maybe paying them a little bit more than you initially anticipated. So I think our wide receiver room, even after losing 2 5-stars, we're bringing in 2 5-stars to replace them, and got Kyle Parker and Devin McQuinn, 2 speedsters who, quite frankly, I wanted Quincy. I don't know. That's hard to say. I want, as far as for winning this upcoming year, I like the trade. But I think Quincy Pointer is going to be an absolute star at Notre Dame, and I think he's going to be a star this year. But that's just my opinion. I was very high on Quincy Porter as a wide receiver. Mylan Graham, not so much. I like that, but we brought in speed. We lost Mylan Graham. He's a pretty good speedster, but we brought in 2 that can stretch the field with their speed, which is a little bit of what the Buckeyes were lacking this year on the field. Going to the tight end position, we lost K-Mac and Max. We lost our 2 best tight ends on the roster. But the Buckeyes brought in Hunter Welsing from Northwestern. We had him on the show and talked to him. 6'3", 200. What do you say it was? 6'3", 250. That's what it was. It really had an outbreak season at Northwestern for being a receiving threat. His PFF grades don't show that good of blocking. We'll see if they utilize him in the fullback position or not. That's what I'm curious to see with Arthur Smith coming in here. But Mason Williams out of Ohio, we're trying to redo the K-Mac situation. And as far as when Mason Williams, he's the bigger guy. He's like 6'5", 260 pounds. At Ohio, he was an absolute blocking machine. I mean, he was a blocking machine. So let's see if he can do it up a level. I think he will be able to. I think he's got 2 years of eligibility left. Hunter Welsing does not. This will be his last year of eligibility. We also have Nate Roberts, who got used as the fullback this year, but it's not the kind of tight end he is. That's one of the biggest questions. That's one of the large questions I have from this year is what the heck? What were we doing? Does anybody think, I normally don't do this, but chat, does anybody think the using Nate Roberts as the fullback set worked out good this year? Did anybody like that in the chat? Yes or no? I did not. Nate Roberts, showed in high school, pretty good. That's not the type of tight end that he is. He's a good receiving tight end, and I think he's going to be getting snaps this year. The other one that I'm curious to see, Bennett Christian came back as well. Did not have a good year. Dude did not have a good year, like at all. Just be it what it is. But I never count anybody out. Let's see what he does this offseason. Let's see. But Brody Lennon is an athletic freak for a tight end out of Ohio. One of the fastest players on the team as far as top end speed. So here we go. Chat tuning in here a little bit with no. These tight ends do not excite me on the tight end sets, Steely. It was not very successful. No, not at fullback. No. Yeah, and listen, love Nate Roberts. Going to be a great player. That's nothing against him whatsoever. Like he did the best he could to contribute to this team. We also got Max LeBlanc on the roster as well. Brought in Nick Latour, the freshman class. But, I feel pretty good about the tight ends that we brought in. I really want to see how we utilize them this year. But the best chance we have at utilizing our tight ends correctly is bring Arthur Smith in, and I believe he'll use the tight ends correctly. Okay, here we go. Another interesting offensive group to talk about. I'm sure everybody's going to have so many different variations of this. I feel like day to day, my variations of the offensive line starters change. I have different ideas. So I will tell you what my idea is on the offensive line. Brought back everybody. Isn't that true? Yeah, besides Tegra. Tegra hit the transfer portal, ended up in Kentucky. Most Buckeye fans not upset about that. Bringing back a lot of experience, obviously. I've heard a lot of Buckeye fans voice their opinions on why didn't we go in the portal. We watched the Indiana game. We watched the Miami game saying, hey, we can't get it done with this offensive line. We did bring in Vashon out of Dartmouth, a lower college. Brought him in as depth, 290-pound tackle. The only way he's going to see the field this year, you better get up to 315, my dude. But obviously an experienced depth piece to bring in. But I have zero worries about this offensive line at all. Starting at left tackle, I have Ian Moore. We watched Austin Saraville do it. Did a pretty darn good job this year. Was our best offensive lineman this year. So I could see somebody arguing leave him there because he did good as an offensive line. But the only reason what leans me more towards moving him is to get Ian Moore on the field, and Ian Moore's position is left tackle, right? So you want to play your 5 best offensive linemen, and I believe Ian Moore is one of those 5. Next, I got Luke Montgomery at left guard. Started off the year super strong, struggled a couple games. I mean, he has a very high ceiling as a guard. He's going to get better. He's going to be better this year. I've got Carson Hinsman remaining at center in this roster here. And then, listen, guys, here's where it gets funky. Here's where some people are going to be like, yo, what you got going on here? I have Austin Saraville at right guard, and I have Philip Daniels still at right tackle. Studley agrees with me so far, but he will not agree with that statement. I'm a huge Philip Daniels fan. With what he did coming in on this roster and beating all our other offensive linemen out for the right tackle position, the dude is going to have, I'm predicting, a hell of an offseason. He's not going to stop. He is as competitive as they can be. And I think, right, the fact that they're pretty much going to have open competition on the offensive line this year, Philip Daniels is not going to back down, and he's going to come out a way better tackle than he was this year. However, I was very close to switching those two and putting Austin Saraville at right tackle and Philip Daniels at right guard. I like Austin Saraville on the right side of the line. That's where I think he should play. I think that's where he started his career at here at Ohio State, on the right side of the line at guard. switching in and out with, who was it? Tegra, I think it was. But I like that. And again, you look at the backups that we have. The next one in line would be Josh Padilla. The other option you could do is throw Josh in at center, move Carson to right guard, and keep Austin Searveld at right tackle, and have Philip Daniels as a backup. So I think we have 6 really serviceable offensive linemen that we can use. Gabe Van Sickle's another one. He earned some snaps this year. Didn't look too hot in Miami up against first-round talent. But again, a whole other offseason to getting better. Right, I like it. We also got Carter Lowe, the 5-star freshman tackle, is his freshman year going into his sophomore season. The coaches are very high on him. We have Jake Cook as well, who his freshman season was already in the 2 deep. So Jake Cook, I'm rooting him on big time. And then you got Deontay Armstrong, who is a tackle, who the Buckeyes kept on this roster, and they kept him for a reason. So we'll see how that operates. I know we're bringing in Sam Greer. Some people have Sam Greer in the 2 deep on this roster. Freshman offensive line, I just don't see it. I don't think so. Dude's a beast. Dude's a dog. Dude will probably push for playing time his sophomore season, but being a freshman coming in playing Big Ten football, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. So I think we have a deep offensive line. I like it. And again, I'm going to point to bringing in Arthur Smith to help this offensive line, because I'm sold on. I just saw this offensive line this year, saw missed assignments, saw twists confuse them. And I just lean more towards scheme/coaching more than I do the players themselves, because most of those players won us a national title, guys. I mean, they just did. So, that's where I get confused for the people that, say we needed to go in. I understand both tackles, boom, gone. But again, beginning of the year did well, did not do good towards the end of the season. So boom, there we go. There is the offensive depth chart for this Buckeye team. I really like it. Julian Sain's going to be a dog. The running back room is going to be young, but we know the talent that Bo Jackson and Isaiah West have. Jacoby Jackson's going to come in and make. What's bad, though? I'm just going to be honest with you. I said the same thing about C.J. Donaldson. I'm going to be honest with you. I did. I was higher on – I wasn't high on C.J. Donaldson because of what he did at West Virginia. I was high on him because I had a pretty good inside scoop on him inside the Woody and what the Buckeyes were going to do with him and how training was going and whatnot. But I was dead wrong there. So you might not want to listen to me on Jacoby Jackson. I missed C.J. Donaldson. I didn't think it was going to be an absolute star, but I definitely thought he was going to be better than what he was. I do think Jacoby Jackson will win out this RB2 role. I think he'll beat out Isaiah West, more experienced back, pass protection. I think he'll be RB2, but I think you're going to see a 3-back rotation this year. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that or not. I'd like to see 2 guys get in a rhythm, but then again, right, if that third guy is Isaiah West, I say throw him in the mix, get him some experience. I really hope that happens this year. I really do, because we got a schedule when our starters are going to be in the games in the fourth quarter a lot more than they were last year. So that means Ryan Day has to change his philosophy when we're up by 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. Man, I was at that Wisconsin game, and I was like, bro, what are these starters still doing in the game? I just don't understand. Tavian St. Clair better be in the game, man. He better be in the game. And he didn't get, I don't know. I really hope we see that this year. We have to, man. We have to. But we say that every single year. Again, wide receiver, we could no. I think still wide receiver still as talented as we have ever been at the wide receiver position, if you ask me. J.J. Smith, Brandon Ennis, Devin McQuinn, and Kyle Parker from the portal. Those were sought-after wide receivers. Those are speedsters, but also bringing in Chris Henry and Quay Guilford. Jaquaden Guilford is the next Garrett Wilson / Carnell Tate. He's a hybrid of both of them. He's just a little bit more athletic than both of them. I know. That's scarlet glasses right there for sure. Tight end position, you went into the portal, you got him. You got upcoming freshman Nate Roberts, like it there, and we just went over the offensive line. So, did anybody hear anything that I said that they thought was ludicrous or that they would change? Matter of fact, you guys might have already did this, but start at left tackle and go to right tackle. Type those names out for me. I want to see what you guys are thinking for the offensive line. I am curious about that. And then anything else that you heard me talk about. The wide receiver position is another one you can probably play with. But again, Brandon Ennis was a captain this year. He was open quite a bit. Hopefully Julian Sane can lock on to him a little bit more this year, which he will. But J.J. Smith, Brandon Ennis, and then that third spot, I'm sure people got Chris Henry in there. Some people got Jaquaden Guilford. Some people got Kyle Parker. Some people got Devin McQuinn in there, So it just depends. Yeah, I figured you guys already did the offensive line up here somewhere. I just got to find it. Let's see if I can find it. Hinsman was rumored to move to guard. Oh, yeah, he did well playing guard. Moore, Montgomery, Hinsman, Ceraville, and Daniels. Yeah, that's exactly what I had, actually. Isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's exactly what I have. Okay, here we go. Moore, Montgomery, Hinsman, Daniels, Ceraville. Okay, you flopped the last two. I got you. Okay. Yeah, Duke. I mean, I don't know that he has trouble getting open. I saw him get open a lot. I mean, he's just when you go from Emeka Buka and you go from slot receivers that we're used to seeing him, Brandon Ennis, I see why people say that. But yes, he's got to step it up. Brandon Ennis has to step it up this year. He needs to. Yeah, Legend Bay's one. We'll see how they use him. I think you put, man, I hope that, okay, love Brandon Ennis, but here's one thing I'll say. Dude, we better put a speedster on punt and kickoff returns this year. I mean, got to, man. Special teams, we'll throw that on off. What was his name? Connor Hawkins, the Baylor kicker. Really excited about him. Ryan Day is looking for a special teams coordinator. I don't think he was going after Marty Baggy or something from Notre Dame. I don't think that worked out. I think the buyout was a little bit too big there. I really hope Ryan Day still looks around for a special teams coordinator. And I hope we utilize the insane talent that we have on this roster to use special teams as a weapon. We watched Indiana do it all year. Got to use special teams as a weapon. It's got to happen. We need to play fast and aggressive all year. Let's cut it out with the dang slow play, saving our legs for the playoff crap. You guys, Dave made me sound like an idiot this. You know how many shows I did where I was boosting up Ryan Day saying, hey, he's playing chess or he's playing checkers, chess, and everybody else playing checkers. I sound like an idiot. Get to the playoffs and doing the same thing. Dang, man. I would have sounded so smart if they would have went tempo in the playoffs. You know how smart I would have sounded? Damn. You can't win them all. Got to cut that out. Got to cut it out, man. Got to play depth. Let's play the depth, and let's take special teams more serious. Get aggressive. Actually put somebody back there that can return a kick, and let's get it done. Let's just get it the heck done, man. Steely, thanks for the $1.99. Michigan is always going to be cheaters and scum. Yeah, they are. There's some more shenanigans going on at Michigan right now at their basketball program. Go check out Justin Spiro's X page. You'll get a little more information there. Johnny, thanks for the $1.99. Show Tanker, Indiana won't be too good this year. Come here, Tank. They want to see you. They do. She was sleeping. Tinker, you're going to be famous. Look at the camera and smile. No. Looky there. Look. What's that? What's
the camera.
Okay, there's Tank. Yeah, earlier in the chat, I said Indiana was a 10 out of 10 this year, won the national title, darn good team, 10 out of 10. I put earlier they're going to be a 7.5 out of 10 this year, which does not mean they're bad. I think they're still, I'm done sleeping on Indiana, but it's hard to replicate that kind of quarterback play. They're bringing in the quarterback from TCU. It's just hard to have that much success in the portal. It just is. I mean, so definitely going to be, we got to take them serious. We'll see. They lost their running backs. They lost their number 1, number 2 wide receiver. I think they lost some offensive linemen. They lost some defensive linemen. They lost all of their JMU core that came with SIG from the lower levels. And, it's kind of like when the Buckeyes in 24, when they lost their core of the team, they lost all their leaders. I'm pretty sure something similar just happened to Indiana. So we'll see. But here we go. Wasn't done with that. Yo, Doodah, man, thanks for the $50, man. Dev, do you see any role for Bay this year? God bless you and Buckeye Nation. God bless you, brother. Appreciate the $50 for sure. That's big time. And I do see a role for him on special teams. That I do know for a fact that was one of the recruiting pitches. Just FYI, so you guys know, was getting him on the field as a freshman to possibly, be used as a weapon. So I hope we do it. I hope we see him in the kid's electric. This dude is electric. So, it just depends. It just depends how focused they come in being. Physically, he's ready. Jaquaden Guilford is 6'2", 205 pounds. Physically, he's ready. But coming in, getting into the routine of Ohio State football, the playbook, all those things, there's a lot of freshmen that can make impacts this year physically. Kari Wilder, Jay Timmons, Jordan Thomas. But it's the mental aspect of how quick can you acclimate to the college, Ohio State practice, workout, routine, pace, all those things. A lot of things come into play. I mean, some players don't get it. There were certain players that portaled out of the Buckeyes this year that were very highly rated, that everybody kept waiting for them to bust, but they were just parts of it that didn't click with them. There were parts of the program. There were things that Ohio State wanted to see that they just didn't see. So again, it's more than what can you do on game day. You got to put in the work and you got to be disciplined before to get on the field. And I hope we never go away from that. I hope we never go away from that at all. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate you guys watching. Scores 29-21. Michigan State game. We want Michigan State to win this game. For sure. Appreciate the super chats, guys. Appreciate you guys watching on a Friday night. Who knows? I might go live again tomorrow. It's cold here in Tallahassee. It's supposed to be 6-degree wind chill on Sunday. So I might do a show tomorrow. And then we got the panel on Sunday. Monday, it's a show. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss the show on Monday. VB coach is coming on. We're going to break down the offensive line. You're going to hear from an offensive line coach. What do you think happened this year and our expectations for this upcoming year? But on that note, guys, appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH. Oh, hit the like and subscribe button. OHIO. Bye-bye.